Hey friends, what's up? Welcome or welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I wanted to go back to my phone type of content because I know those are your favorite kinds of videos to watch here on the channel and I appreciate you, so I decided to do a fun little video here where I'm sharing 5, I think, unique or at least cool apps that I have on my Google Pixel 7 Pro that I think will be cool for you to check out if you're interested in them. We'll see what you think. Definitely let me know in the comments, but I'm going to be sharing my screen, so you're not going to physically see me like scrolling, but I will put like a screenshot over here so you can see when I go into each of the apps and how it looks and stuff like that. But yeah, I just figured it would be fun to share this with you, and if you do end up checking out any of these apps, let me know because that'd be really cool to know. But let's get right into it. Okay, so as you can see, this is my homepage. I have several like home pages, but this is the main one. I'm just gonna swipe over to the very edge over here because I made a little subfolder so I wouldn't forget which apps I'm gonna be sharing with you. But the first one is AllTrails. So this is essentially all of the trails. I downloaded this app when I moved out to New Jersey because I now live in an area where I'm able to like be very close to hiking trails, and I also like to do hiking whenever I do like weekend trips or if I go upstate and things like that. So yeah, downloaded this app and it's a really cool app. I think it's a well done app. As you can see, it works really well, and it was just a random find. Like I didn't get suggested this by anyone, but basically you can find trails in your area within your vicinity, or if you're going to a specific place and you want to look it up before you get to the place, you can click on these trails. Of course, there's like a paid option, but you don't have to get the paid option if you don't want to. You can still get access to so many free things. And as you can see, I clicked onto one of the trails that just popped up on like the suggested trails. It will give you the difficulty level, I guess you could say, and it says that it's moderate. There's also a rating, and those ratings have reviews next to it. There's like 4,500 reviews on this one, and so you can look at reviews and see what people say about the trail, which is really helpful, especially if you are looking for something that's not too difficult or something that's pet friendly, things like that. And then there's directions, there's navigation, there's so much information in here. It's absolutely wild. I feel like it's the Bible of hiking, and I just think that's super helpful to have everything in one spot so that you don't have to do a ton of research before heading out on a hike. You can just quickly do a search here and it has all the information for you. I mean, it even has the weather. It has like updated weather information, which is so cool. And then at the top there, you can see that you can bookmark certain hikes, so you can keep it for later if you're going on a trip, etc., things like that. I just think this is super cool. And again, like you saw, there was a pop-up with paid options, but I have never paid for this app and I still get the most out of it. I highly recommend it. And if you do end up paying for it, let me know what you think about it, because I feel like if it's really worth it, I would end up paying for like the monthly subscription for this. But yeah, that's the first app. The second app is Planta. I feel like I might have talked about this app before, but it's essentially a way for me to keep track of my plants. So I have a bunch of plants. Let me see if I can actually show you. These are all of the plants that I have, and I essentially just manually put them in. I just was able to search. So as you can see here, you can search for specific plants, or you can use a picture to identify the plant if you don't know what plant it is, and you enter your plants into the system. And once you do that, the app generates, again, just like AllTrails, has a lot of information. So it tells you like where it's placed. It's telling me that I'm placing it somewhere too dark, but it has been okay so far. It tells you when to water it, when to fertilize it. Again, this is another one that has like premium services. You have to pay a subscription if you want the premium services. I have yet to do that, and maybe one day it will be useful for me if I like take it super seriously. But I have mostly been using this to keep track of my watering schedule. As you can see in this section here, it will tell you in a little bubble when the next time it is for me to water a plant. So it says in 4 days, 3 days, in 6 days, things like that. And you can filter things by the name of the plant, by where the plant is located. So as you can see, some are in the kitchen, some are in the living room. And then urgent tasks, you can see like by I guess, deadline, this has been ranked. So as you can see, the spider plant needs to be watered tomorrow. I also have pictures. Sometimes it asks you for like status updates on how well your plant is doing, so you can keep track of that. There's a care schedule. There's just so much information in here, and I only use a fraction of it, which is why I don't think for me right now it's worth getting the premium service, but it does send me a lot of push notifications whenever I need to water my plants. If I don't water it the day that it sends me the push notification, it will send me daily notifications, and it's basically telling me like, you really need to take care of your plants right now. So that is something that I need as someone who definitely neglects their plants often, not intentionally. But yeah, I feel like it's super helpful. The next app, now this is going to be for my friends who are pretty like into photo editing and stuff like that, but Snapseed is my favorite app ever for fine-tuning and editing photos. I've done many videos on this, so I won't go into it too much, but yet again, this is an app that has a lot of features in it. As you can see, there's a huge array of things that you can do with photo editing. You can like do all of that very fine-tuned type of stuff, or you can do things like add drama, filters. I think you can actually, you can add text into here as well. So it just has so many things, and I feel like it has been the most intuitive and helpful and accessible photo editing app on a phone. I like it better than like Lightroom, honestly. So I really love it, and I've been able to edit all of my photos, not videos, all of my photos for social media. So really recommend Snapseed. The next app is Google Podcasts. Now this is going to be a funny one because I know a lot of people use Apple or Spotify for their podcasts, but me personally, I like to keep my podcasts super separate from everything else. And one, I don't use Apple Podcasts, obviously, because I don't have an Apple device. And two, Spotify is, in my opinion, a little cluttered. When I have my podcasts, I have a ton of playlists for all sorts of different situations all in one place. So I like to keep my podcasts separate, and I like Google Podcasts for that. I feel like it's simplified, and I like simplified. I can get access to my homepage, which has all of the recent uploads for the podcasts that I'm following. You can see the subscriptions up at the top. Those are the things that I'm subscribed to. There's an explore page, which is really nice, and then there's a library where I can access my subscriptions, my queue, things like that. I also like that it has the history, because sometimes I will leave off an episode in the midst of it and I will forget like what the name of the podcast episode was, and this will just tell me. As you can see, I am binging a particular podcast right now. But yeah, I just think that it's very simplified. It keeps everything in one place, and I like that. So if you're into that, highly recommend that as an alternative to Apple or Spotify. And the last app, which I think is pretty cool, is Storygraph. This is a new app to me. I haven't used this prior to this year, but it's essentially an app where you can keep track of your reading. So I personally think that it's a better version of Goodreads because, as you can see, there are charts. There's so much data in here. I just think that is the coolest thing ever. And the way that it picks up the data is, of course, you enter the stuff in manually. So I have been putting in books that I've read throughout this year so far. As you can see, they're right here. While you're reading it, as you can see right now, I'm reading 0 Days by Ruth Ware. If I click on it, you'll see that I'm 66% through. So I'm continuously updating how far along I am. And I can update it right there as well. But I'm continuously updating how far I am. So the app is keeping track of how long it takes for me to read it, the length of books that I commonly pick up, the genre, things like that. And it creates these really intuitive charts, which, as you can see, I'm not quite diverse. I keep to my my favorite genre, which we all know is the spooky stuff, but it's just really cool to see this. You can even see like my average of ratings and stuff like that. And at the end of each book, you can add in like reading journal type stuff. Like I said, you can see the tracking here. I don't write notes whenever I read. I just put in my progress of how many pages I've read, but you could put things in like that as well. And when you're finished with a book, it will ask you like a quick little survey about the book, and it will compile data from that as well. So it's super cool. You can add friends and stuff like that on here as well if you're interested in that. And as you can see, there's giveaways. There's also like reading challenges in here. It's fun. I think it's 10 times more fun than Goodreads, and I think the app is a lot more intuitive, accessible, and useful than Goodreads. I don't think Goodreads even has an app. But yeah, I really, really love it. And I was gonna say that there is also a premium feature on this as well if you want to pay for premium features. I have not done that. I don't feel like I need to. Once again, it just has so many things in it, so many features in it, that I don't feel like I need to pay for anything. But yeah, those are the apps that I have. So those are the apps that I wanted to share with you today. I think they're unique. I think they're fun. I feel like they are jam-packed with tools that are super, super useful. And I do think that the user experience of the apps are really nice. I do know that some people get kind of weird about apps that they're not familiar with on Android, and they think that they're gonna be like wonky, or they have too many ads pop-ups or things like that. And these apps are absolutely not like that. Although there are premium features and they do ask you to sign up for those premium features within the app, it's not too spammy. I think it's pretty subtle, and they just provide you with even more tools if you did want to pay for those premium features, but absolutely not necessary. I have been using some of these apps for years and years at a time, and I've never had to pay anything. So I'll leave that up to you, to your discretion. Let me know if any of the apps that I shared with you are interesting, and if you're going to check them out, if you're going to download them, if you like them, if you dislike them, if you have any apps of your own that you want to recommend that you think are cool and unique, let me know. I am always down to trying new things. But that is all for this week's video. I hope you liked this little view into my phone yet again. Unfortunately, I don't have too many videos on the Google Pixel phones at the moment because I've already done a review, I've already done an updated review, and the new phones don't come out until the end of the year. So if you have anything in particular that you want me to cover when it comes to the Google Pixel phones and things like that, let me know, and I am more than happy to provide that for you. So yeah, that's all. I'll talk to you next week.